Well, audience, good morning from day 2 here at Google Next. I'm so delighted that you tuned in with us this morning. Guys, all the rules are the same as we kick off another episode of Cloud Talk Live. Well, again, welcome back to Google Next Day 2. This is going to be a busy day, folks. We live several times, recording lots of stuff, but I'm so glad that you're kicking off the day with us here. Of course, you're probably not in the Pacific time zone where it's still early in the day. So wherever you are, I'd love to have you do the usual. Introduce yourselves. Tell us who you are. Tell us where in the world you are. Now, this morning, we're going to get into it here shortly, talking about some of the updates that were announced yesterday. We're going to talk about some of the things that Rackspace has been up to. But like I said, make sure you introduce yourselves. I see folks are already doing that. Thank you very much for that. And if you want to get a hold of us, just send an email to solve@rackspace.com. You can find out everything that you need to know about our thought leadership program over there. And of course, if you're really into AI, which isn't everybody these days, just head over to FAIR.rackspace.com to learn about everything we're doing in that space. Now, I'm joined today by Rackspace's CTO Srini Koushik. So Srini, welcome to the program.
Hey, it's great to be here, Jeff.
So glad that you're here. So just a few announcements yesterday. There's a lot going on here at Google Next. What caught your attention?
Well, it's awesome to see how much Google's actually leaned into AI. They had a slower start than Microsoft, but they've leaned in big time into it. And I think most of the keynote yesterday was about AI and generative AI. And it was exciting to see everything from the partnership they announced with NVIDIA to the new foundational models that they've released, like Imagen and other capabilities that have come out, all the way to Duet AI, and they're really stepping on the gas pedal here, and it's exciting to see.
It is. You know, they were very, obviously, as you mentioned, slower to the game as far as the things they had publicly. Now, of course, they've been doing a ton behind the scenes. You don't just walk out and do some of this amazing stuff, but they are bringing stuff to market at a pretty blistering pace. I love how they're even baking it in. You've got the Duet stuff, you're baking it into the workspaces.
Well, I said, as I said, it was a slower start. But they're clearly, setting the pace now for AI in the marketplace. So it's exciting to be at Google Next, where you're seeing a lot of these things being released. And what's even more cooler is with FAIR and Rackspace, you watch something on stage and you actually see it at our booth. So we've actually built it as people are talking about it on stage.
I know. In fact, I think we got a call out on stage for some of the stuff that we're doing. So let's get into that a little bit. So, everybody gets excited about AI. It's this thing. You've been very vocal that AI is not new. It is a discipline that started effectively as soon as they made the first computer. Even before that, it was a theory that was put forth. But, when we all woke up on January 1st and ChatGPT existed and all of a sudden there was this use case that people could see, you were very quick here at Rackspace to find a way that we could apply that. Now, we've had data scientists and been doing this sort of thing for a while, but you really brought us together in and around the foundry that we have here at Rackspace for AI. And that's what when we say FAIR, that's what we're talking about, the foundry for AI at Rackspace. We have lots of visions and use cases, and we'll talk about those use cases that over the 500 or so that we've identified. But for us, it started by how do we apply this internally? Let's talk about some of those use cases for a second.
Well, as you pointed out, the concept of AI and these use cases even aren't new. If you had to kind of build supervised, unsupervised learning algorithms to be able to go get information and derive it from what we're working on, it was a little bit more tough to do it even last year. You had challenges around, finding the right talent, finding the right type of algorithms that are needed to be able to go build this. But what's changed with GPT-4 and all the other large language model concepts that have come out is a lot of this is now at our fingertips, right? And I've heard it referred to as English as a programming language. Right?
That's a great way to see it,
Your ability to use prompts and very well-defined prompts to train a model, those things have kind of really put a jetpack on a lot of these use cases. So for Rackspace, As an organization that depends on the intelligence and the knowledge that our rackers carry, the effects that we can have in the market are amplified when there's more collaboration and sharing. So if I happen to run into a problem and I've documented it and I've said, like, there's something, hey, here's a problem we've solved, and there's a racker out in India or in Vietnam who is dealing with the same challenge, being able to access it, being able to have that at their fingertips is huge. So what we've done within Rackspace is to take these use cases, especially around a context-sensitive knowledge search, and we built out an enterprise-grade solution called Rackspace ICE, the Intelligent Coworker for an enterprise, ICE. And that was critical for us to build it that way, because now we're able to not just use it internally to drive a lot of that productivity benefits. We're actually demonstrating it out there, and these are some of the same things that you saw with the Gen AI studio that they were showing on stage yesterday, and then you walk over and here's a completely industrialized, productized version of what you saw on stage, and that's so cool to kind of be at Google Next and be one of the first out there.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. So one of the latest tools that we've created is in and around, we call it the diagnostic tool. So let's talk about what that does for customers.
Right. So we yesterday we announced a AI diagnostic, a FAIR AI Diagnostic, and the idea is pretty simple. A lot of people are excited about AI. They're reading about it. They actually are wondering if it's applicable to their environment.
Can it make a difference in my business?
Can it make a difference in my business? And so it absolutely can is the answer. However, where are you in that journey? Do you have the data that you need, right? Is the supply chain of data clean so that you can actually train these models? Do you have the skills required? More importantly, do you have your values and ethics codified into AI principles?
That's a huge piece because everybody's worried about what's happening with AI, the potential for issues. But with the power that's there, you've got to look at all angles.
And all of those angles, when you kind of think about it, building AI, like the technology is important, but it is only a small part of what you have to be able to release into your enterprises. So the diagnostic tool, what we've announced and what's on our website at fair.rackspace.com is you can go in and for your organization answer 12 short questions, and it actually gives you a start for where you are in that journey and what are the things you should be thinking about. The intent is for everyone to have access to it and fill that out so that you get a sense to where you are. But more importantly, we're there ready to help, depending on where you are in the journey. And if you really want to be able to harden your data services component or actually build a platform that is secure and is ready for responsible AI, you should take the diagnostic, and when you engage with us, we actually walk in with a more robust one. There's about 60 questions. I talked about 12. And what those 60 questions allow you to do is to fine-tune your journey so that when you do implement AI, you're very successful at it in your organization, because that's the intent, right? It's not about the tech. It's not about building another plaything. It is about implementing these solutions in such a way that it benefits your organization and advances your values and ethics in the marketplace.
Srini, one of the things I wanted to also talk about was, as we think about how AI is going to come into an organization, there are a lot of folks who are worried, what's going to happen to the job market? But I think we're in the same mind here, is it actually creates opportunity.
Actually, this is a fascinating topic, and there's a lot of debates going on. David Otter, who's MIT, he studies workplaces and others, done a survey, and I was reading it. He's done a report on it. I was reading it the other day, and he's put forward something that's pretty interesting that I'm kind of thinking through. He thinks AI and generative AI solutions are going to impact the top end of the market, the expertise, right? Because I don't need the expert anymore. Because you can actually go and tap into the world's best experts by getting into this. the other part of that thing that I was fascinated with is some of them believe that this is almost going to be like, remember the golden age in the United States where, like, you could actually go into and get a college degree and then go out there and
get a job that you had for
your career.
Yeah.
And that's the mid-level piece. And they actually think this could actually benefit those people in the middle, because now you can be a lot more productive.
Right.
You can actually walk into this. We've always talked about you need a STEM degree to succeed in this stuff. Well, probably not, right? Depending on how AI gets implemented. And I thought that was very that was fascinating, because it's early days in AI and the adoption of AI. And I happen to be one that's a lot more a glass half full person, because I do believe that this is going to benefit. And obviously you have to have the guardrails in place to make sure that the bad stuff does not happen.
Because there's always bad guys, and they want to do bad things.
And the key thing that I also say is, like, when you have the bad guys out there, if the good guys lay down their arms, like, then you've already lost.
Yeah.
So you
stay in the fight.
It's going to be there. So you absolutely want to fight the good fight. You want to make sure that you're putting out solutions that are good for the world and the people that live in it.
That's right. Hey, I just wanted to call out real quick. I failed to watch the little screen to say welcome everybody who's coming in from so far away. Angola is here. Wow. First time Angola's been here. I love that. Thank you guys for being a part of this. Do you have any questions for Srini? We have just a few minutes. We got India. India is always here, which is wonderful. We have a great showing from there. Plano, Texas. Lagos, Nigeria. Can you believe that? Lagos, Nigeria. Learning about AI from Google Next. So glass half full. I love that when we think about the technology, but with concern. The one other thing I wanted to talk real quick about is in your presentations, and which are always well balanced with thought leadership, and then you're there to talk about Rackspace. So there's always some product-y stuff. But you talk about responsible AI. Let's talk about that for a second. What constitutes responsible AI?
Responsible AI it's actually very important, and a lot of people define it in different ways, but at FAIR and at Rackspace, we've defined it with 3 characteristics. Number 1, to be responsible, AI has to be symbiotic, right? Meaning it has to coexist with human beings.
It's there to help.
Replace them. It's there to help. It's there to kind of bring out the best and increase productivity and those things, but it can't be there to supplement.
That's right.
So there are things that you have to put in place. It absolutely has to do that. Number 2, it has to be secure. Because again, with the amount of information that's going in, it is actually very important not just to secure the information and personal information, but also to protect it from, because AI gets trained, no matter what you hear from science fiction movies and others, it's trained by algorithms, it's trained by data. So the only way it gets corrupted is if your supply chain of data is corrupted. If you don't have the right input, it's the old adage of garbage in, garbage out. Right.
Completely.
And so that's a pretty important component of it. So it's got to be symbiotic. It has to be secure, and it has to be sustainable. And it's the 3 S's: symbiotic, secure, and sustainable. Sustainable is again very critical, because when you train these models, you're seeing this with many of these large language models. As it progresses and it learns more, it's hallucinating more. The way you need to be able to train this, make sure that it is consistently delivering results that are improving, that's eliminating bias, that's available to the broader swath of population, not just the elite few at the top. Those things are all critical, and they're not esoteric conversation. We actually take it, and this is where Rackspace is different. We take these constructs and we convert them into what's called non-functional requirements, right? If you've always built solutions, there are functional requirements, which is all about what the system does.
That's right.
And there's non-functionals, which is a lot about how it does things, right? And the non-functional requirements, taking responsible AI into these 3 categories, converting them into non-functional requirements, and making sure that they get engineered into our platform is the way we've approached AI. And that's the reason why, like, if you're at Google Next and you're still listening to this, stop by booth number 217. You'll actually see these solutions implemented. And by the way, like I've corrected at least a few people. They came and said, "That's a great demo," and it's like, nope, that's not a demo. That's a product.
That's a real thing.
That's a real product that we've built, and it was built by the Rackspace engineers in about 60 days, right?
Yeah.
And it's amazing how quickly they've been able to build it.
That's right. Well, folks, thanks for tuning in here this morning. We are going to be live repeatedly throughout the day, so stay tuned to the Rackspace channel, to us over on YouTube or on LinkedIn, and we've got several Googlers who are going to be on. We've got the head of partner engineering, Clive D'Souza, is going to be here later, as well as so we're going to learn more specifically about that, as some partner companies, and maybe even some other Rackers are going to show up. So it's going to be a great day. Stay tuned, stick around, and to learn more about what Rackspace is up to in the AI space, super easy. Just head over to fair.rackspace.com. If you're not here and can't see some of the demos and the live production stuff that we are showing here, there are videos that will demonstrate that for you over at fair.rackspace.com. Everyone, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope to see you probably in about an hour.